Hi, I'm Axelle Carolyn, and this is Trailers from Hell. Hammer films are my happy place. Whenever I feel down, I turn to Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and I feel better already. They feel familiar, they feel comforting. I grew up watching the Dracula films and the Frankenstein films and the first Mummy, but had never seen, growing up, the more obscure movies, like obscure, kind of, that Hammer released, like The Witches or like Kiss of the Vampire, which I now love. And this movie is the fourth Mummy movie that Hammer made. And I discovered it recently, and it's really underrated. It's Blood from the Mummy's Tomb.
She who is buried here shall henceforth have no name, shall cease to exist in the minds of man, as she has ceased to exist in life.
Blood from the Mummy's Tomb is a loose adaptation of Bram Stoker's Jewel of the Seven Stars. By the writer's admission, they didn't want to use the title because it wasn't commercial enough, so they simply added every word associated to this kind of horror. Blood, horror, tomb, curse! As it turns out, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb had kind of a reputation as a curse movie, in fact. First of all, Peter Cushing had to drop out after one day on set to be by his wife Helen's side as she was about to pass away. He was replaced by Andrew Keir, another Hammer regular who played Quatermass in the 60s and had basically filled in for Cushing already as a vampire hunter in Dracula Prince of Darkness. Then a week before the end of the shoot, director Seth Holt died of a heart attack on set, collapsing in the arms of a crew member. Apparently the heart attack was brought about by hiccups. He was replaced by producer Michael Carreras for the last week of filming, but Holt was also an editor, and he had very specific way of shooting his scenes, knowing exactly how they would later be edited. So the footage he left felt like a bit of a puzzle in post-production. Apparently some stuff was missing, he'd never filmed any people entering into a scene or people leaving into a scene, and so it was a little bit of a headache. But I guess they somehow managed to piece it together, because the result is pretty fun, in no small part thanks to its lead, Valerie Leon, in the dual role of the Mummy and the present-day woman the Mummy possesses. She's also known for starring in a bunch of Carry On movies and for small parts in The Spy Who Loved Me and Never Say Never Again. And she is spectacular. She's powerful, she's stunning, she's a total icon. She's also a blonde, so she was given a black wig for this, and she's often complained about it, but truth be told, it looks terrific. One of the things I love most about this is that it's part of a very brief period, basically 1970 and 1971, during which Hammer created some really cool female villains. Until then, women had mostly just played virtuous, righteous damsel in distress, or the occasional monster under a man's spell, like the Brides of Dracula. But when censorship rules changed in Britain in the late 60s, Hammer suddenly allowed copious amounts of female nudity on screen, but to counterbalance that at the same time, they also gave women bigger roles and allowed them for the first time to be supernatural villains in their own right. Ingrid Pitt is known for playing a couple of those parts, and Valerie Leon's Queen Tara is definitely one of them. So there you have it, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb.